Hello everyone, happy Monday, Yom Tov. It's me, it's your header back again. And I hope everyone enjoyed the spooky sessions on Friday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. And I hope all of you have a happy Monday wherever in the world you happen to be. Well, I've come to you today sort of like coming away from a very swollen Sunday. As you can see, this is just the after effects, but you can see this one comes over like that. The swollen part of my eyelid is still sort of sitting on my eyelashes, and you can see from this glorious bag underneath. So a little bit here, it's not so much here that it goes for, but more or less this side of me. So I've come to you in glorious Technicolor, as you can see, and no makeup. At least the hair looks half decent. I had that done on Saturday. I wish you could have seen it on Saturday. The picture in my thumbnail for Headers Haven, it shows you what my hair was like on Saturday. But at least I don't have those nasty silver roots anymore, because, you know, I'm fighting my way into being elderly, and I certainly don't consider myself as elderly. Not yet, and not for a long shot. Anyway, I'm beginning to wonder if I should name myself She's Always Late to It, because I want to respond to something that he who shall not be named, yeah, him again, he put out a tweet. Now, I didn't go looking for it. I don't follow him. I have as little to do with him as I can possibly do, because I'm trying to protect my own mental health. Because when I do focus on him, when I've got to address him, it doesn't do my mental health any good at all. And I want to try and keep my mental health as well as possible. And you all know that I suffer from depression. I've got some anxiety, and I've talked to my doctor about agoraphobia and one thing and another. She doesn't think it's agoraphobia, which I'm very pleased about. She just thinks it's anxiety, which is enough. And if that's all it is, then I'll deal with it. You know, I'll find a way to deal with it. But he came out and he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that if you allow yourself to be manipulated, then it's basically your fault. And you've got to take responsibility for it. And he did that at the plus 18 age group. And basically that's what he said. If you allow yourself to be manipulated, then it's your fault. And you've got to take responsibility for it. Okay, then, so how do you know whether or not you're being manipulated? Right? Because basically none of us are stupid, okay? And a lot of us can see when someone is trying to pull the wool over our eyes. And we've got our inbuilt sensible button that says, I know that you are trying to bullshit me. I'm going to be dead honest in this. I'm just going to say it like it is, because I would like to have more of a rant, but for some strange reason, I am just lacking in my core energy. And I wish I wasn't, because you've all seen me a lot more animated than this. But how do you know that you're being manipulated? If you are being manipulated by a master manipulator who can get it down to such a fine art that you believe what he's telling you, if he really makes it believable. And then when you come to the realization that you have been manipulated, the first thing you're going to feel is anger, annoyance. You're going to feel, there's a bit of you that's going to feel, how was I so stupid to be taken in by him or her, or whoever has manipulated you at that time. So, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, and this is my own personal opinion, like I said, most of us have got this built-in, I know when you're trying to bullshit me, right? But what do you do when you've got someone like Chris Boutte, who is a master manipulator, and let's face it, he is, comes to you with all this bullshit, but he makes it so believable that you are taken in. He comes across in such a way that everything he says, you think, oh, that makes sense, and oh, that makes sense. So why would I not believe what Chris is telling me? You know, he's got to be right. I mean, he's been through this and he's been through that, and he's read all these books. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. Oh, and let's not forget, you know, his mum has got all that background as a psychologist. You know, most of the time not a registered psychologist, but let's not nitpick here. I mean, look, he's got all this background. Why wouldn't I believe in him? And then you've got people who did believe in him, and then through one thing or another have come to the realization, hang on a minute, this guy is not all he here I go. This guy is not who he appears to be. And this is what I found out for myself. He's come out and said XYZ, and I've gone and found out for myself that his XYZ is untrue, or it's misleading, or it's been watered down, or it's been hyped up from nothing. So if he's done that, now I realise he's manipulated me. So I'm not going to take any more of his bullshit, and I'm going to make people aware that he's done this. But he's got the nerve to come out and blame people like me who did initially believe in him. Because right back in the beginning, I remember watching 2 or 3 of his videos and thinking, hey, you know, this guy's, he's not bad. He seems to know what he's talking about. But then I very quickly caught on to the fact that he was a bullshit artist. You know, that he was a manipulator, that he was a narcissist. And I started listening to not just anybody who said, you know, oh, listen to him, he's just a narcissist and you shouldn't listen to what he says. I did listen to people like Dr. Todd Grandy. And I listened to other doctors, you know, online who said, have nothing to do with this guy. He's basically dangerous. You know, he's coming out with literal crap. Stay away from him. Now, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe someone who says he's like a life coach, but let's face it, anybody can be a life coach. I could be one. I could turn around to you tomorrow and say, I've decided I'm going to be a life coach and I'm going to tell you how to turn your life around. Got no credentials to my name. I mean, I've got my BA, but that was from when Pussy was a kitten. But I've got no other credentials in psychology. Oh, well, I took an A-level in psychology. But that was, you know, when Pussy was a kitten again. But that doesn't matter. I'm just going to tell you how to live your life. And I would expect a lot of you to turn around and say, Heather, stick to what you're good at. Telling stories. Occasionally coming out with things that ring true. You know? Because I do tell you the truth. I fail to see any point in lying to any of you. Because, you know, I credit all of you with a sense of right and wrong and knowing and being intelligent enough to make your own decisions. And, you know, if you think I'm coming out and trying to fluff you all and basically take the mickey out of you, which is basically take the piss out of you, then I expect you to turn around and say so and leave in your droves. But I'm not doing that. And if I make a mistake, I'm going to put my hands up and say, I am sorry, I made a mistake, I was wrong. And I have said to you all in the past, I've made mistakes. I put my hands up, I say I'm wrong. You know, I've lost friendships because I did things that were wrong. Said things that were wrong. You know? And if I can't put it right, I have to live and carry that burden. I'm never going to say any different. But this guy, it doesn't seem to matter. He comes out with the biggest pile of crap. How can you be totally responsible for being manipulated? Now, let's be honest here. If I held up an orange or a banana to you and said, I believe that this banana is actually God, and that bananas hold the truth to life, the universe, and everything, and if you believe in the truth, follow the banana. And if you come to me and say, oh, actually, Hetty, you're right, we should listen more to the goodness of the banana, then you are being openly manipulated, and you should kick yourself up the backside for being openly manipulated by that, right? That's one thing. But when you've got someone who is a master manipulator, and I'm telling you now, if he comes across as so believable, right, and then you find out that he has pulled the wool over your eyes for months, and he's bullshit you for months, you're going to feel very hurt, very let down, angry, annoyed, and you are going to feel, I was stupid for believing in him. No, you weren't stupid for believing in him. None of you are stupid. He conned you. Right? All of us have been hit by a con man or a con woman at some point in our lives. Right? All of us have. They've painted a picture of something glorious. And it doesn't matter where it is, whether it's been on TV, whether it's been on radio, whether it's someone you've actually had in your own real life. They've painted you a scenario that is false, is lured to get you on their side. And then when you find out the truth, you just feel extremely let down. And that's what an awful lot of people have felt who realise what Chris really is and what he represents is just bullshit. And that's why I keep saying to you, for God's sake, please open your eyes to him. If you still follow this guy, would you please at least listen to the counter arguments against him? Then if you decide to still follow him, that's on you. And I can't do anything about that. All I can say is, please open your eyes, please listen. And if you have had your eyes opened and you realise you're being conned, then that's fine, we can support you. But if you decide to keep on following him, all I will say to you personally is, look, I'm sorry that you've decided to think that way. I can't do anything about that. I hope you don't get hurt in the process. And that is my bottom line. I hope you don't get hurt. I'm not going to say I told you so. My concern is for your mental health and for your well-being. And if you keep allowing yourself to follow this guy and listen to what he says when he's been caught out so many times hurting people, and you're still willing to follow him, then God help you. That's all I can say. It's up to you. Free will, free speech, whatever you like. And if you do eventually come to the realisation that he is a con man, like so many other people have said he is, and has proved that he is, and you need support, and come to me, I'll support you. And any other body who has said anything about him, you can go to them, and I'm sure they'll support you as well. I can't say fairer than that. So basically, my rant about the Rewired Soul today is, when he tells you that you should be responsible for anybody who manipulates you, in one regard, that is true, because if someone is going to be stupid enough to think that they can pull the wool over people's eyes, and those people allow that to happen even though they know it's happening to them, then yes, you've got to take responsibility for that. But you cannot be held responsible when you have been hoodwinked by a master manipulator. And Chris Boutte is a master manipulator. You cannot be held responsible for the lies and the bullshit that he has pulled over your eyes, and now you've come to the realisation that he's a bullshit artist. You cannot be held responsible for that. And I think you'll be probably not really amazed to know that he's never addressed me, he's never come near me. You can't say that he hasn't heard of me, even in my tiny corner of YouTube. You can't say that he's never heard of me, right? I know others watch me, and I know it would have got back to him, but he's never taken me up on an offer of a debate. And that offer is still on the table, that offer is still there. Chris Boutte, if you would like to debate me, I am right here. I am not going anywhere. You tell me, place, date, time. Well, the place is going to be, on a live stream. But tell me date and time. And unless ill health prevents, I will be there. Because people who follow me, people who subscribe to me, know me that I'm a woman of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, the only thing that stops me is ill health. Otherwise, I do it. So please, I welcome debating you. I know that you've said no to other people. I know you've ignored other people. And that's okay. Whatever you want to do with them, you do it. But why won't you debate me? I mean, surely someone of your great learning, because you've read 54 books so far this year, surely you wouldn't be scared to debate little old me. I mean, who am I? I'm nothing. I'm just a woman with an opinion. So why would you be afraid to debate me? After all, you've read all these books and you're so learned, and you're going back to school. Once you paid off your first lot of debts, that is, to get your BSc or whatever it is. Yeah, well, we'll believe that when we see it. Anyway, moving on from that rant, and I'm sorry it wasn't much of a rant. I wish I'd had more energy. I really do. I don't know. Since that last bad bout, I don't know what it is. I just feel that I've got to take a deep breath and dive in there. And then afterwards, I just sit and I just feel I want to go to sleep. And I'll be honest with you, once I've done talking to you guys, then I probably will go for a nap. Isn't that ridiculous? I don't know. I don't know whether it's after the last illness. I don't know whether it's because I have fibromyalgia. I don't know whether it's got something to do with, and I try not to take morphine if I can get away with it. It might have something to do with that. Changing the weather. Because I've got arthritis everywhere. I don't know why I'm lacking in energy. I wish I knew. And if anybody has an answer, please let me know. Because if you've got anything that you think would perk me up a bit, then could you also let me know about that? I just want to draw your attention to, I've decided to change my necklace. I know I always wear my star, and I had to take it off. But this one actually says mother across the top, and it's got a girl and a little boy. My kids got me that ages ago. And the girl's in blue and the boy's in like a reddish pink. Don't know why, but it's topaz and garnet. And, or is it pink tourmaline? Can't remember. I think it is. Can't see from here. But anyway, it was from my daughter and my son. And of course my daughter's older than my son, so it makes sense. But I just thought you'd like to see that. It says mother across the top, and that's my girl and my boy. So I thought, in case you're wondering what it was I was wearing today, I just felt like a change. Now, sorry, got to. Wanted to bring you up to speed, up to date with a couple of things. Lorraine, first off, I want to thank every single one of you who has kept her in your prayers. I can't thank you enough. Please will you keep praying for her? I spoke to her properly on the phone. But it was just after I started feeling better. And she's not doing well. The calyx is making her feel chronically tired and extremely emotional. She's crying all the time. And she spends an awful lot of her day asleep. You know, she gets up, she gets dressed, she tries to, our little palace, our little flat is like a palace. And she keeps that pristine. She's got 6 little chihuahuas. And even then, it's pristine. And then she sort of flops down on her couch and that's it, she's washed out. And I was able to talk to her, and she's using the bigger mug that I sent her for our water, and she's using the smaller cup for our chamomile. She said it's the perfect size, and she took a little video and showed me, and I was thrilled. And it's made her smile, it's made her very happy, and that's exactly what I wanted it to do. So that was good to see. She thanks you all for praying for her. She's really grateful. And she says she's grateful for every single prayer. She's desperate to stay here. She's told me that she's going to get a scan in a couple of weeks' time. If it shows the calyx isn't working. Well, she told me that the cells are now everywhere. Some macro cells had broken off and they're now depositing themselves everywhere. So the calyx is to try and stop them forming into tumours. If the calyx is working, they're going to keep that up. If it's not, she's got one last go, and that's with a new drug that they're trialling in London. So she'll have to travel about 50, 60 miles, I think, or maybe a bit more, to go to the hospital in London. I don't know which one it is yet. She'll let me know in good time. I'm praying that the calyx is working. She said that this one, she's got no toenails. She's still got her fingernails. She said her hair hasn't started falling out. She said the next drug will make her hair fall out and will make her feel pretty rotten. But she said she's still fighting, that she's not going anywhere yet. I'm really worried because I'm desperate for this new drug to take effect. She reminded me that we've been friends for just over 8 years. And I'm like, wow, doesn't time fly when you're enjoying yourself? And in all that time, she's always been there for me whenever I've needed her. Her and my other friend, Jan, were like the 3 online sisters. And I was talking to Jan as well the other day. And the pair of us are just heartbroken about Lorraine. Neither of us want us to lose our sister. And I don't want to go on about it anymore because I will cry, and my eyes are swollen enough as it is without crying. So I'm going to stay thinking positive. So please keep your prayers coming. I will be so very grateful. I also wanted to give you an update on Jimmy, the homeless lad. Call him a lad, he's 35. I saw Jimmy last week, We were going through a cold snap. I managed to get him a couple of nights in the budget hostel. The car had been for its service and I'd forgot to put the clothes in that I collected for him. So they're back in the car now, so I'm going to go out later on today and see if I can catch him. Because he keeps being moved on to different places and it's really, really sad. Because he's just bones, skin and bones. And the clothes he's got are just rags. And I managed to get out of him what his problem was. And it's alcohol. And he's not getting any help. And what money that he should be getting for food, he's using it on beer. And I said to him, oh, I'm not going to give you money for beer. I refuse. I'll go in and I'll buy you a sandwich, but I am not buying you a beer. I'm just not going to do that. So he's okay. And like I said, every opportunity that I can give him to get a couple of nights in the hostel, then I will. I can't afford a week. That's too much at my housekeeping. I can't afford a week, but I can afford for him to get in for 2 nights. So that's something anyway. It's awful, isn't it? There for the grace of God go I. At least I've got a roof over my head and I can keep warm and there's food there if I need it. And it brings me up short when I go on about how crap life can be for me. And yet, poor Jimmy, what he's got to face. And Lorraine, what she's facing. It just humbles me into a corner. And I also wanted to say to you before I go, the other thing that's got me worked up this morning is this thing about Prince Andrew. Oh, now he regrets not showing any concern over the girls who were hurt over this Jeffrey Epstein thing. That documentary or whatever it was that was broadcast was a disaster. It was a complete shot in the foot for him. And people saying that 14-year-old prostitutes aren't children. Being 14, you are still a child. And anyone who gets a 14-year-old off the streets and peddles them for sex is a paedophile. And they deserve everything that's coming to them. I hate anything to do with sex and children. I've had my own experience and no one was there for me. And these days, when paedophiles get called out, I hope they get thrown in prison and the key thrown away. And I hope they are put in prison beside family men. And if they get a hiding, they deserve it. And if that sounds hateful, then that's my opinion, and that's who I am. Paedophiles deserve nothing less. If they've got a hiding every day of their lives, for the amount of years that they're in prison, they deserve it. It is completely and utterly wrong to do anything with regard to sex and children. It's just wrong. And at the end of the day, I don't believe that Prince Andrew didn't meet that girl. I don't believe that he didn't have sex with her. Right, okay, she was 17. That makes no difference. Over here, you can have sex at 16 as long as you've got the permission of your parents. You can get married with the permission of your parents. But other than that, you are not an adult until you reach the age of 18. No, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And that's my rant on that. And on that happy note, I've hit half an hour. So please don't forget, all being well, there's going to be a live stream on Saturday night here in the Haven, because you asked for a live stream once a month. It's been about a month since we were last together, so it would either be that or the 30th. That would make it a month from Halloween. So it's up to you. Do you want it the 23rd or do you want it on the 30th? I'll saying it to you. I'll say it again on Twitter. Just let me know when you'd like it. If anyone has an idea for a story on Wednesday for folk tales, please let me know in the comments today. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and choose one. If anybody has any requests for anything, please let me know in the comments or send me something on Twitter. And if I can do it for you, I certainly will. I'm going to say bye-bye to you for now, and I will see you again very, very soon. And I love you all. Take care and have a lovely day and a lovely week ahead. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.